Hey tubes, thought I'd just shoot some video here of this Economy Model D that I am restoring. I had this engine together before and had it running, but it was really wore out. The bore was pitted up terrible, so I decided to tear it apart and redo it best I could. I don't know if you can see here. It has a D and a 1.5 stamped in the end of the crankshaft here. I don't know if you can see that or not. I guess you can just make it out. It's on the bottom right now. That's the only markings on this engine. The D was the first engine built in Evansville by the Hercules company for Sears. They were sold under the name Economy. Prior to 1914, they were built in Sparta. And the bearings were in good shape. They still have plenty of shims in them. I did have it bored out and re-sleeved, and then I wire brushed everything and sandblasted some stuff and filled some spots on it with some filler and some glaze and sanded it and gave it a coat of paint. This has an igniter. I had to buy that. I had to have one made for it. Didn't have that. Somebody had put a plate in there with a spark plug in it. And had a little timer assembly on it for the spark plug when I first got it. Here's the flywheels for it. Got those primered up. I gotta fill in the pits on the flywheels, sand them down, get them painted. So far it's come out really well. I'm happy with it. As you'll notice here, these didn't have any speed adjustment on the latch out mechanism that they did on the later E models. The D's didn't have that. I put this long bolt in here because I tipped it right up on its nose and it set on that so it wouldn't screw up the paint or anything. Tipped it up on its nose to put the fuel tank in the bottom of it. The paint I'm using is that Exo Rust right there. I'm really happy with this paint. I got an idea. It's made by Rust-Oleum. It's sold at True Value stores, and it's really good paint. Takes a long time to dry, but once it does dry and gets cured good, it holds up really well. There's the black that I used on it. I don't care much for gloss black, so I used satin black on the connecting rod, which is over here. A few other pieces might get painted black. Probably the outside of the flywheels will get painted black. There's the cylinder head for it. That come out pretty good. This is the wrong carburetor. It's upside down, obviously, but This is not the proper carburetor for a Model D. The proper carburetor for a Model D is hard to come by, and I was able to find this carburetor, which is on a later economy or Hercules engine. So I was able to find one of those in really good shape, so that's what I'm going to be putting on this one. If ever I come across the proper carburetor, I'll just change it. I had this head, I had the seats caught in the guides. Well, I didn't have guides put in it, but they were reamed out to accept bigger valve stems. So that should seal up well. Here's the valves that I've got for it. I believe these are Chevrolet small block intake valves. They fit well. There's the rod bearing that belongs in it. You can see that's in really good shape. So I'll just have to put that in eventually and shim it up. There's the piston. These, once I tore it apart, I measured these grooves and found they weren't 1/4 inch anymore. At some point somebody had cut them bigger. And I think they're like 269 right now or something to that effect, 0.269. And so I've got special rings ordered for it, and hopefully they'll be in soon. Well, that's it for now, I guess. You can see I made those screws. That was just a regular hex head bolt, and it would not have looked right at all. Not making it look super authentic, but I'm trying to make it look as original as I can. So I took and ground those hex head bolts round on the head, cut a slot across them with a die grinder, make them look like flat screws. I did the same thing there. That would have been a square headed set screw, so I made one of those. Like I say, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to look pretty good. Decided to go with brass plumbing on it. There isn't a lot of it, so I put brass on it, and that's going to make it look nice. Well, I guess that's it for now. When I get some more done on it, I'll shoot another video, I guess. See you later, tubes.